Hey Mystic family, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome. This is a twin flame soul connection reading. I wasn't going to do any readings this week, but my spirit team have been at me all week. Even waking me up with messages. So I had them all written down and I thought we'll get into them once the week's over because I've had family in staying with me, but spirit has been pushing all day. So of course nothing was charged because I didn't prepare. So that's what that's what I did today. I charged everything up and we'll get into the reading. We'll do cards. I'll read what the channeled stuff is. Now, what I kept getting, what the strongest part was, and I think why Spirit was pushing for it, is the masculines have a darkness around them at the moment that's been brought on. Their thought it's not darkness. When I say darkness, I don't want to scare anyone or make you think they've got you know, bad spirits with them or anything along those lines. It's it's caused by thought forms. Energy is so powerful, and our thoughts are so powerful. And what's happened is, as the masculine's grown and going through these things, they've hit some times where they're having repetitive thoughts and dark thoughts and just and some of it's brought on by depression, but I'm also hearing some of it's brought on by karmic situations with karmics, basically, especially around the feminine. So the reason they want me to get in and get this out today is because someone needs to hear that they need to be protecting themselves energetically and watching their thoughts. So if you're finding yourself thinking negatively or just not yourself, if you feel like you've hit a rut and it's not brought on by anything in your general environment, then it's generally something that's happened in the masculine's world. It's a thought form they've got, and it's something that's gone on with their karmic, or their karmic is a very negative person in general, and they've carried this energy with them. Now, you might not even have contact with them, but they're attaching these thoughts to your connection as well. Like, what I'm getting is they don't have clarity around these negative feelings they've got, and they're attaching it to things that it doesn't belong, and in turn you're picking up on it, if that makes any sense. Also as well, what's happening is a lot of masculines have become very self-aware, and this was divinely planned, as it has for the feminine. You become aware of your issues and you have to grow through them and level up and glow up and all that stuff. But what's happened is some of the masculine, since they've become self-aware, their protection, their ego has kicked in, and what's happened is all the issues that are coming up for them that they have to change, they're now projecting that onto the feminine. So if you're noticing that your masculine is extra judgy, extra picky, if they're picking at things that you think you actually do that, that's you. That's them projecting that out onto you. They're holding on to everything they can right now to not have to make these changes. So even if you're in separation and you're finding that you may have got a message where it's just not making sense, they're agitated, they're picking, what I'm hearing is some of them have got back in contact with you, but they're not themselves. They're not themselves. You can't figure out what it is, and they're not telling you what it is, but they're picking at you for things that it doesn't make any sense to you. It's because they're desperately running from themselves, as what Spirit has told me during the week. And it's bringing up when they realize these issues. Sorry if I'm stumbling on. There was so much coming in, and I'm trying to get it all out in one go. I'll take a breath. So what Spirit was also telling me that as these issues come up, they've got a lot of self-loathing. And when they're in your presence, they're realizing the growth you've done and the self-love that you've mastered. And they want to bring you back down to their level. Misery loves company, is what Spirit said pretty clearly. So they're trying to make you, and this is how I see it, they're trying to make you hate yourself because they're hating themselves, if that makes sense. They're looking for an easy out. They want to escape. And what else did I get? So they're also starting to see their reflection in you but they're seeing their reflection in all the women they've dated, which is normal. Like everybody, not just our twin is our mirror, everybody is our mirror. And they're starting to suffer repercussions from the people they've dated before, whether it's a child and they're having to go to court or pay child support, or they're not doing what they should do, or the parent to their child is withholding custody and stuff like that. They're starting to see their poor choices, and they're seeing it reflected back on them. Like, I made this decision because I wasn't, I didn't know my worth, or whatever the reason is. They're starting to see their poor choices come back to affect them. Karma's coming back to affect them, and they're blaming everybody else. And unfortunately, feminines, you're getting lumped in with that too. So we're going to go to the cards, because when I channel, I get very out of breath. So what did we get? We got the Knight of Pentacles. So what that's telling me is, as per usual, there is very slow movement. But the feminine's not fussed anymore. They are not fussed anymore. They're working on their coin. They're working on their abundance. They're kind of finding richness in things around them that aren't even money-based. So they're building a tribe around them. They're finding their passions. They've changed their perspective on the twin flame dynamic in general. So you may be finding, this is for both masculine and feminine, that your perspective on this has changed, and you're not going to put up with the things that you put up with before. While you will still love unconditionally, it's just not on. So in the past, you may have put up with them not contacting you as regularly, or whatever it is that your masculine was doing, you're just not putting up with it anymore, because your perception on union has changed. It's sort of evolved. I feel like your twin journey has evolved within you, is what Spirit's telling me. Because you've grown and you realize that you don't need that physical union, while it would be lovely to make you happy. And you're not waiting on the masculine to level up, that you can do your part without needing them. Okay, what have we got? Yeah, you've grieved. Spirit's telling me you didn't just wake up and make this decision. This has been a long time coming. It's been pain that's pushed you here, and you had to grieve the loss. You had to grieve the loss of union. You haven't given up on it, but you've set in motion. So whereas in the past, you may have been like, okay, they're in runner stage right now, and you may have still been in that phase with your twin, you actually set the intention to grieve the loss of this person in case they never come back. So it's like you're setting up the foundation for this never happening. It's not that you're giving up hope. It's not that you love them any less unconditionally. You're actually grieving the loss of the relationship, which is something you've never done before. It's not that you've given up hope, not in the slightest, but at the same time, you're not putting yourself in a position where it's open-ended. So it's like you can't even move forward, because in the past you found yourself unable to move forward because there was no closure. And that's kind of the downfall of this connection, is you never really get that closure. You're giving it to yourself this time. You're actually going to grieve the loss of the relationship, so you do have that space to move on. It's just basically creating an energetic space, so you're not stuck in this trapped energetic field. Let's see what else is there. Yeah, you, along with the change perception, you've gotten clarity on just how far the masculine has to go. Like, for a few of you, you're realizing they've got a lot of work before them, and if I keep going at the pace I am, I'm enabling them, and they're just not going to do the work they need to do. Okay. 7 of Cups. You're looking at other options. You're looking at other options and wondering to yourself, is the 10 of Cups have come up in reverse. Okay, so you're looking at other options. You're wondering, is union, is this fairy tale possible? And is there a fairy tale waiting for me with someone else? Because there just may be. And that's what I feel like I keep saying, for the first time. because I feel like for a lot of you, there was a long time where you didn't even consider somebody else. Like, you'd date other people, you'd have fun with them, but you didn't even consider the thought of replacing your masculine with somebody else. It was just unheard of. But you're sick of spending your time with all your cups just emptying out. Like, you're sick of feeling like your cups are empty. I feel like you go out and you're seeing people at the supermarket and at the park with their children, and life just seems great. And you're thinking, why am I holding on to this when, I'm not getting my 10 of cups? There's got to be other options out there. I feel like some of you are starting to resign to the fact that you would be happy with a soulmate. I'm also, so energetically, I'm just going to stop there for a second, because I'm going to clarify and get some predictions on what's going to happen. But energetically, I know that, and the reason you're leveling up, feminines, is because you're integrating energies from your past towers, especially over the last 2 years. So if you're feeling exhausted and overwhelmed, and you may feel like your everyday life has suddenly got busier, even though you're not really there's no new responsibilities. You may feel like you're juggling everything and your balls are about to drop. Sorry. That was a weird phrasing. Yeah, you're about to drop all your balls. You may feel like you're juggling, and if someone adds one more thing, you may not be able to cope and you're exhausted. So, Spirit is saying it's not that anything new is happening, it's that you're now integrating all the lessons that came with the towers, and all the lessons that come with your masculine mirroring you. So you've been through them, you've learnt them, and now it's time to integrate them, especially before 2020, I'm hearing. So you may be breaking out in sweats that, sort of don't match anything you're doing. You're like, why am I sweating right now? This is ridiculous, You may find that your heart's fluttering. You may be sitting still watching TV and your heart may be fluttering, like beating extremely fast. So when I say fluttering, I mean like it's going 100 miles per hour. It's thudding in your chest even though you're sitting stationary. You may get tingling in your feet and hands, and you may be finding you're having mood swings unrelated to anything that's going on around you. This is okay. So what they're also telling me is you're not just integrating the lessons you've learned here. You're also integrating past life situations that come up with your twin. So if you're finding that you're getting emotional over things that you'd already put to bed with your twin, like if things are coming up that are triggering you that you'd already worked through, and you're thinking, why am I going through this situation again? Why is it coming back up? It's because you're actually transmuting lessons and energies from past lives. So we're kind of tying up all loose ends, Spirit's saying to me. So if you've already healed these aspects and they're coming back up again, or you're having things come up that you just can't make sense of, or emotions that you can't make sense of, especially if it's coming with the energy of your twin, if you can feel them around you at the time, you are 100% transmuting situations and heartbreaks and lessons from past lives. Spirit's saying by the partial eclipse, which I think is on the 11th of January in 2020, you'll find that this will start to slow down. This card's popping out at me here. So just as I say it's about to slow down, Spirit's telling me there's a quickening. Okay, so it's not when the reason it's coming on so quick is there's a quickening. So what we normally would have transmuted and integrated over the course of a year to 2 years, we are now squishing into the very last. It's the mad rush towards 2020. The quickening, Spirit's calling it the quickening. That's cute. Okay, what do we have? The Eight of Cups has come up in reverse. It's an interesting energy. and the Fool in reverse. Okay, so what Spirit's telling me with this is that you're no longer jumping whenever your twin contacts you or whenever they want something to you. You're not jumping at them. You're taking time to analyze the situation, analyze your feelings. You're not jumping into anything anymore because everything seems to come with a cost. So when they contact you, whereas in the past you would have been all excited, there would have been that downfall. There would have been that drop and that pain. And it's almost like in the past you were very trigger happy when it come to messaging them or wanting to be around them. Spirit's telling me that you're taking your time now. You're realizing there's consequences to this. You're feeling the gravity of this twin situation, and you've learned exactly how it works. So if you have contact with them, that you're going to go through a trigger process and you're going to heal again. So some of you, like I said, you're focusing on yourself and you're thinking, geez, I have this big meeting coming up. A message might come in from them and you think, I have this big meeting coming up and my friend's wedding, is next week, or whatever the situation is. Do I really want to risk going through a trigger process or having them run again on me and then I have to function through what I normally do? Is it worth it at the moment? You're being cautious. Ten of Wands. You're letting that burden go. Whereas I feel like, and I keep saying in the past because I feel like you've just leveled up in the last month or two. You've leveled up and you're a whole new person almost. Divine Feminine. You're letting go of the responsibility to carry this connection. I feel like because you were the only one that sort of really understood the gravity of it and knew what it was, you kind of felt like you had to be the responsible one. And you had to be the one to understand when they were running and understand the pattern behind it and watch YouTube videos and readings and really guide the situation. You're putting that responsibility down. It's not yours to carry at the moment because you've done the work. You feel like you deserve a break now, and you do, and that's why that Nine of Pentacles is out here. You're done leading the way with the Hermit. You're done being your masculine's divine teacher. This is supposed to be a balanced, even situation where sometimes you're the student, sometimes you're the teacher. You're finding with this masculine that you spent most of your time being the teacher and you were only the student when they triggered you. And there was no balance. And you've also been disconnected, Spirit's telling me. So if it's getting a little easier not to message them back, Spirit has pulled your energy back from them because they're facing not just a tower. Oh, it is a tower, but I feel like they're showing me like, okay. So they're showing me a building, a high-rise building collapsing, like with explosives on each level. So what are they called? Like, it's what is it when they demolish a building? And come on, Spirit, if you're gonna give me the picture, give me the words too. When they deliberately take down a building and they put explosives on each level and it comes down, they take it down slowly, level by level. That's what's going on with the masculine now, because it's not. This tower is so divinely guided that it's just like boom, 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 and it just keeps going until the whole thing's come down. Like I'm seeing it like boom, 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 like being collapsed. Because what was happening in the past is Spirit was giving them like major towers to learn from. But the masculine weren't taking these lessons and using them wisely. It was making them bitter. It was making them angry. And they loved the drama of it almost. They became addicted to being the victim. They became addicted to... and I feel like they were getting attention in that space too. So it became very comfortable for them. And they were using that at times to move on to the next woman and stuff like that. Like the victim became almost profitable spiritually for them. They were getting almost mothered by the women they were around because of the traumas they were going through. So it became a space that they were very happy to be in. So the divine has set this up in such a way that they don't sort of have that breathing time in between these towers to sort of use it to their advantage, because it wasn't teaching them anything, and if anything, it was allowing them to be. Two of Cups have just fallen out. Um, it was allowing them to be less self-sufficient and even grow even less. So the tower, whereas the feminine, it taught them to really stand on their own 2 feet and realize that they had to rely on themselves and they had to love themselves during this period because it was hard work. For the masculine, it was just having the opposite effect. And there was a lot of feminines that would see these towers happening with their masculine and think, oh yeah, this is it. This is where he's going to grow, and only to see him sort of come out the side almost even better. Not because they were growing from it, but, or not better, sorry, even further away from the feminine. It was giving them ways to remove themselves even further, and excuses. I can't be around you right now because I'm going through X, Y, and Z. It just was not having the desired effect. Spirit saying the masculine are very crafty. Now the Hierophant has come up. So for a lot of you, there may be a lot of, I feel like some of you have finally got to the point where before you kind of lost this hope or cut them out, you told them about this twin flame experience, and they didn't take it the way that you would think. While their soul may know their physical existence is so logical that they're not seeing the logic in it. And I think a lot of it's to do with religious upbringing or parents. I feel like a lot of them had parents or single parents that sort of didn't give into that whole love aspect. They were sort of raised to have a family and do all those things, but the partnership or the relationship between masculine and feminine sort of was never treated the way it is. It kind of wasn't held or revered as something very beautiful. It was like you meet someone, you get married, you have children, you do this thing, and it was like, the men go off and do what they want on the weekends, and the woman's at home cooking. It's very traditional, is what I'm hearing, and that's what's stopping them stepping into their emotions. I really get the sense that you're not even bothered by this. Like while you're watching this video, you're like, yep, tick this box, tick that box, but I'm still doing me. Spirit's saying, do exactly that. Do exactly that. They've disconnected you for a reason. The masculine needs to realize what life is like when they're not in your emotions, when they're not feeling supported by your energy, because even if you're in no contact, in the 5D, you support them 24/7. They need to learn to stand on their own 2 feet. Okay, rare and free. That's just confirmation that this is a twin flame connection. If you're unsure, especially if you've got to the stage where you're cutting them off, that it is what you think it is, and it's okay to step away from. Okay, what do we have? Keeping up. Yeah. You're at a stage where the twin flame connection is not enough anymore. While energetically that pull towards them is so, it ignites you, you want more than that. You want to connect on a mental level. You want to connect on a spiritual level. Like just their energy is not enough to keep you anymore. It was for a long time, but they're going to have to make immense effort to be able to move forward in your life with you. And I think that's what's got the masculine all agitated and maybe nasty as well, because for the first time ever, you're not jumping through hoops for them. Trust yourself. You know what's best for you. That is on point with everything I'm saying. It's time to trust yourself. It's time to realize that you can survive without their energy, and you're not doing it for them to level up. But if they are going to level up, pulling away may be the only thing that pushes them forward. I love this. We're all mad here. Everyone is a little, and it's different in quotation marks. They're not going to realize this connection is as rare and beautiful as it is until they're energetically cut off from you, until they do face those situations where they realize, because what's happening is, even when they're going on to karmic situations, they're not feeling the full effect of having their void empty, because at the same time they're still energetically connecting to you in astral levels. So they feel your energy, and they're able to be fulfilled with the karmic, because your energy is topping up whatever the karmic is not feeling themselves. And it's not that there's anything wrong with the karmic, it's just, it's a lesson, and they need to be able to learn their lesson. The Angel of Strength. Spirit's saying this, you may struggle for a bit, some of you, to be able to disconnect, but just to call upon your guides to be able to give you that strength to pull back. And when you're feeling weak, call upon your team to be able to help move you forward. Now, Healer of the Ages has come out. Spirits, they're also saying, look for meditations on YouTube. Maybe go seek a local Reiki healer. Do your work during this time, and that's what will help distract you. Financial. So the masculine are going to be facing a lot of financial issues. This keeps coming up. Like, there was a while where I wasn't doing videos, but getting all the messages in, much to Spirit's dismay. But there is a lot of financial issues coming up for them. I feel like, just as we're sort of getting to the point where we have to transmute past life issues, they're dealing with their past life karmas, and financial money issues have been karmically building up for them over this time. It's almost like the split happened. We got all the sort of emotional stuff at the moment to transmute and work through, and they're getting a lot of the physical aspects, the physical 3D things to work through and fix, and that's hitting them, that's manifesting into their everyday life as financial stuff. Sorry, my cards flipped. What have they done? Okay, so these two cards flipped up. Okay, we have the message of concern and the message. They're going to be trying their hardest to capture your attention, Spirit's telling me. So this could be, if they're not reaching out to you, like physically reaching out to you through messenger, through text, by calling you, they're going to be trying to get your attention, maybe on Facebook, or having a friend of a friend post pictures of them. Like, it's really sly and really sneaky, because they're unsure of what to do with you completely cut off. Like, they're going to be trying everything to capture your attention. Yeah, they're in despair. Now, I know that sounds horrible. I know just the word despair sounds horrible. But they have to work through it to be able to move forward. Now, the not hiring signs coming up in the background, there's definite issues around job as well. Like, there's been a change in them, and they're not focusing the way that they used to. So there's been, I feel like they're getting to work late. They're not giving their job the attention that they used to. Some of them may have court issues up that is distracting them from what they should be doing. And the main female, and you're distracting them. They're at the stage where they're wondering why they can't think of anything else, but yet they're not doing anything about it. And they're almost feeling resentful that you're still popping into their head, especially if you haven't had contact in a while. They're feeling very resentful that after all this time, you're still popping up. Okay. The honeymoon card has come up. So they're looking back on past times with you and fondly. A new love has come up in reverse. So feminine's flirt has come up. Spirit wants you to just be really light and joyful and flirt with everyone you see and just walk around sort of just like making it rain with love, you know? Spirit's telling me that you're generally a really upbeat, chirpy person, but you've been struggling in the last few months to sort of carry that same energy that you normally have. It's time to just let it go and release yourself back into the world as the person you were before, but new and improved. New love has come up in reverse. Spirit's not allowing the masculine to jump into relationships the way they used to. They may be able to, you know, go out and pick up women, but everything they're trying to do is fizzling out. So they may meet somebody and think, wow, this is going to be great. And then, you know, they may text them and it doesn't go anywhere. Or basically Spirit's trying to just sort of tie a knot in that situation. So if they're in karmic situations, they may still have to play that out because they haven't finished with their lessons at the moment, but they're not allowed to sort of open up any new doors. That's it. Yeah, they're not allowed to open up any new doors. Okay, so moving forward, how do we see the masculine coming out of these situations, and how do we sort of see them faring? Because they're giving us so much information on the new year. How do we see this new year faring out? What place are they going to be in? Legacy of light. They're definitely going to be seeing the feminine as a powerful being. Your ancestors will be shining through at that time. Every journey starts with a single step. They will start stepping towards you. But, I mean, contact is great. Everyone loves contact. But for them to step towards you right now, Spirit's saying, because they've been disconnected, if they're going to start stepping towards you, it's because they've done the work. They're not allowed to, they may contact you and everything like that, but if they're going to start stepping towards you in a way that's relationship-based or to move you off your path at all, it will be because they've started to do the work. They're almost quarantined from the feminine, I've heard. Sexual freedom has come out. This is the feminine. In the meantime, it's almost like the feminine's being rewarded. And it doesn't have to be with somebody else. It could be just within yourself. But the feminine's being rewarded with the ability to enjoy life sexually. The masculine sort of put a hold on that for so long. The loyalty towards the masculine was so fierce that it almost shut down the feminine sexually, because especially for the masculines that had run for a particular amount of time. So you may be getting a lot of root chakra activations during this time. Yin and yang, that sexual freedom's coming in because you're integrating with your masculine internally within yourself, and you're getting inner peace. So regardless of what's happening this last month, with this transmuting of energies, you're really going to feel liberated, is what Spirit's saying. Liberated. You're going to feel yourself sexually and physically, and you're going to be surrounding yourself with good people. It's a real, it's inner peace. And this book here on this card says, I'm enough, and the heading says, you are enough. And that's what you've realized, that you don't need a second person to complete you. That you are all of those things. You are the yin and yang. You are your feminine and masculine without this masculine. And he's feeling that energetically, and he almost feels like there's no use for him now, because he's still very much in that victim mentality, and he's going to be pulled out of that. So someone's masculine drives a red car. They've just shown me a red car. It kind of feels sporty, but still kind of a mix between sporty and family. Meditation brings answers. So if you want to know about your specific masculine, ask Spirit, and then meditate. So our spirit is he or she is my masculine coming in. If you don't want to do that, then this card has come up saying not the right time. Right now is not the right time. I am hearing that you will be getting contact, but you're going to say to them it's not the right time. And last one, forgiveness. So what you'll be saying, sorry about that, my neighbours are tooting. It's 2019, send a text to say you're outside. Anyway, back on track. You'll be saying to your masculine, it's not the right time, but I forgive you for everything that's happened. And that's going to release them energetically to be able to start doing the work. And that's when you'll start seeing the change. And that's when you will start to manifest this union. Okay, we're going to do one more card because what are we on now? 35. So we're saying we want to do one more card from here. I'm trying to think, did I forget to say something if they're pushing me? Replenish. All right, so what Spirit's saying is if you are not ready to completely disconnect, if you're not ready to do all those things, but you are connected in the 3D, then Spirit's saying use meditation time to fill your cup or dream time, however it is you connect best, and fill their cup. So they're saying continue your relationship in 5D. And that's a simple thing to do. You can just sit down, close your eyes, and have conversations with them. And the beautiful thing with those 5D conversations is you don't carry any of this 3D pain. I'm going to leave it there, guys. I will speak to you all very soon. Stay tuned. If any of this resonated, please hit that like button. I am a growing channel. I am a new channel, although I'm new to YouTube. I'm new to YouTube. I am not new to reading. I come from a long line of readers. But I am new to YouTube. I am new to the digital form of reading. So I really appreciate your support by hitting the like and hitting the subscribe button. And I get to share all these lovely channelings that Spirit is so persistent on giving me. Okay, Mystic family, love you.